Hello everybody and welcome back to another wonderful edition of the Chessmate Drivecast. I am late, as usual, because it took way too long in getting ready and I forgot to print out the slip that basically says I'm going to be quitting at the end of this week. Problem. That is the problem. But we're not here to talk about that. Today we're going to be talking about Shrek, because who doesn't love Shrek? Everybody always talks about the Shrek verse. Everybody always talks about how great of a movie Shrek is. And everybody, oh my gosh, that is way too loud. I'm sorry, guys. Every movie analysis channel always has to talk about Shrek at a certain time. Shay Frillis did it, Nostalgic did it, I don't know, even Sideways, the music dude, did it. Like, everybody has to always talk about how great Shrek is. And I'm not saying it's a terrible movie. In fact, I think it's actually it's an astounding movie. And for how do I say this? For how reliant on pop culture it is, to make jokes, to make music, it still has really, really impactful parts of the movie. Sorry, I'm just a little out of it right now. I'm a little tired. But yeah, the music not only does it have a bunch of pop songs to lure you in, but it also, in the really intense moments, it has really good orchestral music. Just take a look at Shrek Forever After, and just take a look at the scene where Fiona and Shrek are tied up. It has a freaking orchestral theme of them being stuck. How has nobody noticed this before? Seriously, sorry, I'm a little rambling right now. So, Shrek 4 was actually the first one. No. That's a lie. So, obviously, most people probably watched Shrek 1 first. And, wow, Shrek was an amazing movie. But after that, I actually didn't see Shrek 2 until, like, a great few years later. The next movie that I actually saw was Shrek Forever After. Which means I never understood anything about, Fiona's parents. I never understood anything about Fairy Godmother. I never understood anything about the other princesses and Merlin and all of that. All I knew was, this is a Shrek that, this is the final chapter. I knew there were other Shreks, but I didn't really watch them. I didn't really know about them. And I was just watching another Shrek movie. And since I didn't watch Shrek 3, I didn't really think of Shrek the franchise as, haha, big fat man make joke about being dirty and body acceptance. No, none of that. None of the crude humor. Shrek 4, I wouldn't say they play it safe, because, wow, the story in that thing is amazing. I don't care if people say that Shrek 4 seems like a fanfic, because if you really think about it, everything is a fanfic. Like, guys, do you think Shrek 4 is more of a fanfic than the entire Star Wars sequel trilogy? Don't forget, the sequel trilogy was so bad, every fan of Star Wars had to make their own fan recreation version of it. Sure, you could say Shrek Forever After isn't the greatest movie in the world, but at least it does what it does really well. It creates a new story that blends itself into the universe and timeline of Shrek in a very coherent way, in a way that makes sense. And all that matters is that the story is impactful and has a good message. And sure, I haven't actually seen the movie, what's it called? It's a Good Life, I think that's what it's called, where a person learns about what would have happened if he never lived, blah blah blah. That's what Shrek basically learns. And yeah, I get it. Like, I don't exactly understand people complaining about Shrek 4, because it doesn't have any major flaws. Like, you could say that Rumpelstiltskin is a new villain that comes out of nowhere, but, like, he's still organically included into the story. Like, the reason he exists is because he couldn't take over Far, Far Away, which, he had this whole scheme where, hey, Fairy Godmother is, Fairy Godmother put this curse on Fiona because the Frog Prince, who turns out to be Harold, made a wish, which basically says he gets the happily ever after only if Fairy Godmother gets to marry into the royal lineage and all that, and yada yada yada. She wants to see control, and it's a really good concept. And then Rumpelstiltskin tries to take that away by using his scam of a contract, and I'm thinking, oh, this makes sense. This is pretty cool. And the whole reason, he doesn't get to have that is because, hey, Shrek goes in the way, which means the villain is he's really organically put into the story. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I have to turn the heater on because let me just check real quick. Yeah, there's no way I can wipe that off. I need to turn the heat on so that way I can, let me just turn the heat down. I need to keep this on so that way I could actually see in front of me. But yeah, one of my biggest gripes about most villains is that they're not really connected to the protagonist in any way. And Shrek 4 fixes that problem in an instant. Like, Shrek 4 exists because Rumpelstiltskin is salty about Shrek getting in his way. And that's why he tries to get rid of Shrek. It's a really simple problem. And all he has to do is look for the opportunity where Shrek wishes to get rid of one day. And all Rumpelstiltskin has to do is remove the day that Shrek was born. Like, it's just a genius plan, and I don't understand why people hate it so much. He's a genuinely smart dude. I wouldn't say he's better than Fairy Godmother, since according to Schaefer List, like, the Fairy Godmother is able to make up a plan on the spot after Shrek tries to reverse some magic stuff that happened in Shrek 2. And she's able to think of a plan like bam. I can't snap with this hand. Like bam. Rumpelstiltskin has a plan, but like it's not the best plan. It's a good plan, but he didn't really plan on, he didn't really know what to do about Shrek returning during those 24 hours. And sure, if Shrek really did nothing for 24 hours, that would be kind of funny. I'm trying to remember Shrek, which is, man, it's been a while. I don't remember how Shrek ends up finding out that Fiona doesn't exist. I don't know. Like, I hate that I have to keep having long silences in between everything that I say. Like, I really wish that I didn't have to do this every time. Man, I should really stop recording these while having a half-baked topic. The moon's really nice tonight. It's really bigger than usual. But yeah, back to the Shrek universe. The reason I thought of Shrek was just because I was watching the Jax Films video on the why Shrek 3 is the objectively the worst one, and we all just agree that Shrek 3 never happened. It's kind of like Star Wars and the sequel trilogy. We just agree that it never happened because, or better yet, just the Star Wars Christmas special. We agree that it never happened because the next person that mentions it happens gets crucified. And I'm gonna get crucified, aren't I? Whatever, it's fine. I don't know. I remember the first time. So the order that I watched the Shreks in were 1, 4, 2, and 3. So after I watched 4, 4 was a good movie. It was a pretty. I wouldn't say it's a cinematic masterpiece, but it is definitely cinema. It has a really good story with a really good narrative with good structure. And sure, you can say the fight is a little short and it doesn't really add to the story much, but it had to be there. It makes sense. Blah, blah, blah. And, oh my gosh, just the story between Shrek and Donkey and Shrek and Fiona is just absolutely astounding. I just, man, it's crispy. Shrek 2, much better than Shrek 4, but I'm not going to go into it because I'm kind of running out of time. Shrek 3, though, is just an absolute embarrassment. I watched it for the first time, and I've never been so bored during a movie. No, I take it back. The most boring I've been watching a movie is actually Wonder Woman 1984. I actually watched it last night, and wow, it is embarrassing how boring that movie is. Like, you get 10 minutes of a really good establishing scene in what's it called? In the Amazon, where young... Why am I forgetting Wonder Woman's name? Gosh, why am I forgetting her name? Whatever. No, not Athena. What am I thinking of? Jeez. Diana, thank you. Where you see young Diana participating in some sport, and the fact that she cheated. And first of all, she didn't... I mean, sure, she may have cheated, but, like... You didn't have to stop her from throwing the javelin. It would have been better if she threw the javelin and then they disqualified her. Like, I don't know what's going on here. it doesn't feel a bit rude to, imagine if you were like a football player and you just got intervened by the referee. They just tackle you down before you get the touchdown. Like, that would be absolutely rude. And by football, I mean American football. I know there's a difference between football and football, but I only want to talk about it because, I don't know. I don't really care about the differences. Yeah, Shrek 3, though. Wow, what a weird tangent. Shrek 3 doesn't have a story. I'm just going to say that. Like, the entire point of the movie is to have some heir to Far, Far Away, because King Harold is dying and Shrek really does not want to be king. I will say, just like a few people have said, the montage of Shrek not being able to be king, it's absolute gold, and I will give props to the to DreamWorks for actually getting that scene right. That was the one scene that I actually enjoyed. Shrek trying to become king, and the song Royal Pain, as everybody keeps saying, and I don't know, it just felt like, sure, montages, they can be a little cheesy sometimes, but like, it was absolutely amazing to see how bad Shrek is at being king. Like, you could do nothing and still do a better job than whatever that was. The dude freaking stabbed someone in the head too, so I don't exactly want to say he's good at his job. What else is there? That's about it. I mean, Justin Timberlake was fine. I don't think... I really can't tell if it was Justin Timberlake's fault or if it was the director's fault that everything just ended up horrible, because Justin Timberlake's performance in that movie was just really... What's the word? It was It just felt like it had no energy. He felt like he sounded like he didn't even want to be in the movie. He didn't sound like he was trying at all. It sounded like everyone was just going through the motions and just trying to get everything done as soon as possible, so that way they could just be done with the movie. Like, you could, as the forehead man has already said, like, the entire movie is summarized in one montage in Shrek Forever After, which is the baby scene, which I will say is one of the best starts to any Shrek movie. It's just embarrassing how bad of a movie this is and how forgettable it is, because none of the princesses have any personalities. None of them are really memorable in any way. It's just so off-putting. So I gotta get to work. I'm gonna be late. I'll see you guys next time. I've ranted about Shrek for long enough.